Hey loves, welcome back to Inner Love Messages. I'm Sarah, and if you're new here, I'm so happy you found your way to this space. It truly means a lot to have you here. If you've been with me for a while, thank you for coming back. It's always a joy to connect with you again. Tonight, I'm tuning in with a message for those of you in no-contact situations. We're going to tap into your person's current emotions, the way they're seeing you and this connection, and the important messages their heart is holding right now. Let's drop in and see what Spirit wants to share with us. The very first thing coming through is the phrase, "I've never done this for anyone." The energy behind it is powerful and deeply grounded in masculine essence. It feels like someone who's standing right at the edge of change, staring into a new chapter with a mix of nervousness and determination. What's so clear is that this person sees you as the exception, someone who breaks the mold of every past experience they've had. Even if they've faced similar situations before, nothing has ever felt quite like this. It's as if every decision they've made recently has somehow revolved around you, even when they didn't fully realize it. Your presence has become a guiding force in their life, something that pulls at them even in silence, even across distance. Whether you know it or not, you've taken root in their heart and mind in a way no one else ever has. What's interesting is that this isn't someone who normally acts impulsively. They're used to calculating every move, planning with care, staying in control. But now they're preparing to make a leap, one that's not reckless but still bold. This isn't about doing something on a whim. It's about a decision that's been simmering for a long time. Every little detail has been measured and mulled over. They've been waiting for the right moment, the right energy, the right sign. But there's a tension in the air because while they're ready on their end, there's still uncertainty about you. It's not their own emotions they're unsure of. It's yours. They don't know if your heart is still open, if you still feel what they feel, and that's the part that's holding them back. Your response feels like the missing puzzle piece, the final key to unlock the next step. Inside their mind, there's a whirlwind of questions. They wonder if you're still aligned with them, if your energy is still meeting theirs across that unseen bridge. They're nervous that maybe you've changed, that perhaps the time apart has created a gap too wide to cross. That fear of not being met with the same depth of feeling is haunting them right now. And for someone who's used to keeping a strong front, this vulnerability is deeply unsettling, yet they can't hide from it anymore. The pull they feel towards you is just too strong to ignore. Even if you've been feeling distant or disconnected, the bond between you hasn't weakened. The thread between you two is still alive, still humming with that unspoken connection. It moves through your lives like a quiet current, ever present and gently insistent. The silence hasn't broken it. If anything, it's amplified it. This energy is preparing you both for something bigger, something that goes beyond words. It's like both of your souls have been walking toward this moment for a long time. Even if your conscious minds haven't quite caught up, there's something so much deeper happening beneath the surface. You might not fully see it yet, but a powerful force is at play. The pull between your hearts can no longer be ignored. This isn't just another moment in your journey, it's a turning point. Everything that's happened, all the moments of confusion, silence, longing, it's all been leading to this. And despite the hesitation they still feel, one thing is crystal clear: your energy has always had a profound effect on them. It's nudging them forward, asking them to do something they've never done before, take a leap that terrifies them, but also offers the hope of something extraordinary. This person has been at similar crossroads before, but nothing has ever felt like this. This moment feels sacred, like a once-in-a-lifetime kind of chance. The thought keeps echoing in their heart, "I've never done this for anyone." And that realization is shaking them to their core. You've changed something in them. You've brought light to corners of their soul they didn't even know existed, and that's not something they're taking lightly. You see them in a way no one else does. You've always had this way of reaching past the layers, seeing the truth beneath their surface. That kind of presence is rare, and it's honestly a little overwhelming for someone who's not used to being seen so clearly. There have been moments between you two, maybe small, quiet ones, where something profound was happening beneath the surface. You might not have realized it at the time, but for them, those moments shifted everything. If they could tell you the truth right now, they'd probably say that no one else has ever made them feel so understood, so seen, so known. Your way of listening, of holding space, of simply being present, it does something to them that they've never quite felt before. And right now, they're feeling it more than ever. There's an urgency to it, like time is speeding up, and a window of opportunity is closing. They sense that something major is about to happen, and they can't ignore it anymore. They're standing at the edge of a decision that could change everything, not just for them but for both of you. It's not just a choice, it's a moment that could shift your paths forever. They've set a kind of deadline for themselves, telling their heart that if they don't move now, they might miss the moment. And while this kind of pressure is unfamiliar to them, it's also awakening something new. You've sparked a transformation in them. Your energy has become the catalyst for change, gently but powerfully pushing them out of their comfort zone. As they prepare to take this risk, they're feeling a whirlwind of emotions: fear, excitement, uncertainty, and a quiet hope. They know this choice could bring massive change, and that once the wheels are in motion, there's no turning back. But beneath all the nerves, there's a deep sense of knowing. It feels right. It feels like the next step, even if the road ahead is unclear. They've never done this before, but somehow it's exactly what they need to do now. It's completely understandable if you're feeling unsure right now, too. There's a strange intensity in the energy between you, and it can feel overwhelming. The move they're about to make may take you completely by surprise. It might even feel like it's coming out of nowhere, like a side of them you've never seen before is finally stepping into the light. And that might feel a little unsettling at first, but trust that what you're seeing is real. This is them in their raw, unguarded truth, possibly for the first time. It's a vulnerable moment, and you're being invited to witness it. Before we go further, I just want to pause and say thank you. If you've been touched by the energy in this message and feel called to support the channel, it would mean so much if you'd consider sending a super thanks. Every little bit helps me continue sharing these messages with love and intention. Now, back to the reading. The next message that's coming through is no more secrets. That one hits with a powerful wave of truth. If things between you and this person have felt distant or off lately, if communication has been strained or unclear, there's something deeper at play. You may have been trying to figure out what's really going on beneath the surface, and even if you've had some intuition about it, what's about to be revealed could still catch you completely off guard. From the feminine energy perspective, there's a strong awareness that something has been hidden for quite some time. It's not necessarily about other people or outside influences. It feels like the secrecy has been about their own emotions. They've been holding back how they really feel, what they truly want, and the vulnerability they've been too afraid to show. And that silence has caused confusion, miscommunication, and emotional distance. You may have sensed it all along, even if they never said a word. That inner knowing has been trying to alert you to the truth. They've been wrestling with their feelings in silence. Now, though, things are shifting. That wall of secrecy is beginning to crack. Their heart is tired of hiding, and the weight of everything they've kept inside is becoming too much to bear. The confusion, the silence, the mixed signals, it's all been rooted in fear and self-protection, but they're reaching a point where they can no longer carry the burden of hiding. And when that truth finally comes forward, it's going to bring clarity, perhaps even in ways you didn't expect. The emotional honesty that's been missing is on its way, and with it, a new chapter in your connection, one that's built on truth, transparency, and the kind of deep soul recognition that only the two of you can truly understand. You've been feeling the weight of it all lately, not just the distance, but something deeper that's been sitting quietly in the shadows. It's not just about space or silence. You've always sensed that the real issue wasn't just physical distance, but something unspoken that's been resting just beneath the surface. And now, it's getting harder to ignore. You've reached a point where you can no longer tolerate the uncertainty. You need answers. Divine Feminine. This isn't about small misunderstandings or fleeting secrets. You know in your heart that what's being withheld is something far more significant. It's tied directly to their true feelings for you, feelings that have remained hidden for far too long. You've spent time reflecting, trying to piece it all together, and the more you do, the more you realize how vital it is for the truth to finally come forward. Without it, you can't truly move ahead. Your intuition has been growing stronger, pushing you toward clarity, and that moment of truth is drawing near. It's as though the truth has been waiting in the wings, ready to step out and bring light to all the doubts and questions that have been lingering. You've probably felt unsettled and confused by how they've held back. Their words haven't quite matched their actions, and their emotions, though palpable, have been tightly guarded. That misalignment between what you feel from them and what they actually show has left you questioning everything. It's frustrating, isn't it? To know someone feels something so deeply and yet see them act like they're unaffected. You've been stuck wondering why they've been hiding when all you want is honesty and connection. And these thoughts haven't left your mind. They've been circling in your heart, waiting for resolution. Now, something is shifting. There's an energy building, one that signals a change is on the horizon. And this change isn't just about hearing them speak or watching what they do, it's about what they finally allow themselves to be honest about. When that honesty breaks through, it has the power to transform everything between you. The secrets, the confusion, the not knowing, it's all coming to an end. Soon, you'll see them more clearly without the barriers they've built around their emotions. You'll finally witness the truth that's been hidden behind their silence. With that truth comes resolution. It's not just about getting answers. It's about gaining peace, understanding, and clarity. The tension that's lived between you both, the questions that never got answered, the moments that didn't make sense, they'll all start to unravel. When everything is laid bare, you'll finally understand where you stand. No more half-truths, no more guessing games, just a clear picture of what's real. And no matter what that truth is, it will give you the clarity you need to decide where you go from here, whether that means continuing together or moving in a different direction, but with a sense of closure and deeper awareness. There's something about the phrase, "no more secrets," that feels powerful right now. It carries the weight of something significant about to be revealed, something that's been kept under wraps for a long time, waiting for the right moment to rise, and it feels deeply connected to the person you've been thinking about. They've been holding back, but not because they don't feel. It's because they've been trying to figure out how to handle the emotions they've locked away for so long. There's a sense of hesitation and caution in their energy, like they've been carefully planning their next move. But beneath that, there's something else, a kind of inner conflict that's been growing. They didn't expect things to unfold the way they have. It's as if they've been walking a tightrope, trying to control the situation, trying to maintain emotional distance even when their heart was pulling them in a different direction. They thought they could manage things by playing it safe, by keeping their true feelings out of view. But now, the strategy is falling apart. The walls they've built are starting to crumble, and what they've kept locked away is becoming impossible to ignore. What's really starting to dawn on them is just how much their silence has affected everything. Their unwillingness to open up, their effort to maintain control. It's played a big role in the confusion and distance between you. And now they can't hide from that truth anymore. The burden of holding everything in is becoming too heavy to carry. It's pressing on their spirit, weighing them down, and they can't continue like this. There's a turning point approaching, and it's being triggered by the energy you're sending out. Your openness, your readiness for truth, your refusal to live in uncertainty any longer. That strength is shaking up everything they thought they could keep hidden. You've become a force in their life that they can no longer avoid. Even if they once found ways to control the situation or hold back, that dynamic is shifting. The connection between you has grown too powerful to suppress. It's as though the universe itself is stepping in now, nudging them toward the truth they've been avoiding. And it's becoming harder and harder for them to resist. There's a divine element at play here, something bigger than both of you. You can feel it, can't you? This isn't just about your bond with each other. There's something more guiding this journey, something that feels like fate or a spiritual force gently pushing you toward a breakthrough. The obstacles you've both faced, the inner doubts, the emotional walls, the external circumstances are starting to lose their grip. Change is on the way, and it's coming in a way that neither of you could have predicted. If you felt like things were standing still, look again. Beneath the surface, there is a powerful pull bringing you both back to each other. Even in moments of silence or separation, the connection hasn't faded. It's still alive, still intense, still drawing you together despite everything. And no matter how much time has passed, you both know deep down, this story isn't over. It's transforming. It's reaching a new chapter, and it's becoming something deeper and more profound than it's ever been. There are still so many things left unsaid, and the energy of that silence is coming from the masculine side. They're feeling it all, even if they haven't spoken a word. What they're going through isn't surface level. It's not something they can brush aside anymore. Their emotions are growing stronger, and they're starting to crack open the layers they've kept closed off for so long. If you've been feeling shifts in your own energy, unusual dreams, sudden feelings, a deep sense that something's changing, it's because you're picking up on what they're feeling. There's a soul connection here that runs too deep to ignore, and you're sensing each other in ways you might not have before. The masculine energy is changing, even if they're doing it quietly. This time apart has actually served a purpose. It's created space for reflection and healing, for them to finally sit with everything they've been avoiding. They're beginning to understand their own patterns, their own fears. And more importantly, they're starting to acknowledge just how deeply they feel for you. There's a realization coming to the surface that they haven't been fully honest with you or even with themselves about the depth of their emotions. As this truth begins to settle in, they're also beginning to see how their past actions contributed to the distance between you. There's a new kind of awareness rising in them, and it's making them view everything, including you, in a completely different light. They're beginning to understand your worth in ways they never could before. And that shift in perception? It's because of you. Something about your energy, your love, your presence. It stirred something powerful inside them. Without even trying, you've awakened parts of them they didn't know existed. You've left a mark on their heart, your love, your essence. It's changed them. And now, in the quiet moments when they're alone with their thoughts, the weight of it is becoming impossible to ignore. They're starting to see that they haven't just been avoiding the relationship. They've been avoiding their own feelings. And those feelings, they're rooted in a love so deep and unconditional that they've never quite known how to handle it. But this time feels different. This separation isn't just about space, it's about transformation. It's about healing on a soul level. The masculine may have pulled away in the past when things became overwhelming, but now they're finally facing what they've been running from. They're allowing themselves to feel, to reflect, and to grow. And this growth is pushing them toward a place where they can no longer deny what they feel for you. They're being guided, perhaps by the universe, perhaps by their own heart, toward a truth they can't escape anymore. And when that truth finally emerges, everything will begin to shift. Right now, their emotions are rising to the surface in a way that feels overwhelming and raw. It's not just because of everything they've buried deep inside for so long. It's also because there's this growing urgency building within them. They can feel it. That inner knowing that they can't keep hiding from what they feel, from this connection, from the love that's been quietly living in their heart. The pressure of it all is starting to weigh on them heavily, nudging them to finally make a move. It's unfamiliar territory for them, uncomfortable even, because it asks them to step into the unknown, to do something brave, something outside of what they're used to, but at the same time, they know it's something they have to do if they ever want to fully open themselves to the love that's been there all along, quietly waiting. In many ways, you've given them the courage to face their own heart, even if they haven't said it out loud yet. Even if you're still waiting, wondering, they are standing at the edge of a decision that could change everything. And when they finally do take that step, it won't be small or subtle. It will be a bold leap into something new, a beginning not just for them, but for the both of you. This time apart, as painful and confusing as it may have been, has served its purpose. It's led them to this place of awakening, where they're finally beginning to see their feelings clearly and feel ready to show them to you in a way that's more honest and heartfelt than ever before. The dynamic between you has quietly evolved. There was a time when they were the one who seemed in control, carefully managing the pace of your connection, always one step ahead, keeping their emotions tightly under wraps. They played their part with precision, giving just enough, but never more than they felt was safe. And underneath that cool, collected surface, there was always a storm brewing. So many emotions they tried to keep hidden, locked away under reason and logic. But over time, it became too heavy to carry. Eventually, they had to sit with it all, to let it rise and be felt. And in doing that, they came to a sobering realization. They may have waited too long. They used to believe, perhaps naively, that no matter what, there would always be a place for them in your life. That you'd always be there. And that belief was probably shaped in part by the love and patience you showed them, by the undeniable bond you shared. But now, everything feels different. That certainty they once held has started to slip through their fingers, and they don't know where they stand anymore. What you have together isn't shallow or fleeting. This connection is real. It's deep, and both of you have felt that truth in your bones. But for so long, their fear held them back. Fear of being vulnerable, fear of letting you in too deeply, fear that if you saw the full truth of their love, it would be too much for them, or maybe even for you. So they stayed quiet, guarded. And with every unspoken word, every moment they pulled back, they unknowingly built a wall between you that became harder and harder to scale. They never fully understood just how deeply you affected them until they were alone with their thoughts. The impact you had on their heart is unlike anything they've experienced before. You touched something in them that no one else could reach. Your presence, your energy, it stirred something powerful in them, something they've been trying to understand ever since. You probably noticed their need to stay in control. It might have seemed like just part of who they are, but underneath that need for control was a much deeper fear. They believed that if they followed a specific plan, if they kept their heart protected and never moved too quickly, they could keep everything safe, that they could have love without risking pain. Every decision they made, every bit of distance they created, was their way of trying to avoid getting hurt. It wasn't about not caring, it was about not knowing how to handle how much they cared. But things are shifting now. They've been facing some hard truths that they've avoided for too long, and the biggest of those truths is that their emotional barriers, the walls they built to protect themselves, only created more distance between you. They're beginning to realize that the real obstacle wasn't the timing or the circumstances, it was their fear of showing you their heart, and that fear in trying to protect them may have cost them the very thing they wanted most. They've always seen you, divine feminine, as someone powerful, someone grounded, wise, graceful. You stood in your truth, carried yourself with strength, and had a depth that both intimidated and inspired them. In many ways, they believed you would always be there, always within reach. But lately, something's changed. Whether it's because you've pulled back, grown stronger, or simply started investing your energy elsewhere, they can feel the shift, and it's shaking them. Deep down, they're starting to question whether they still hold a place in your life, and that uncertainty is something they were never prepared to feel. Their confidence has taken a hit. Where they once felt sure about your bond, now there's doubt. The space between you, whether it's physical distance or emotional quiet, has made them feel vulnerable in a way they've never experienced before. They're realizing that they can't just assume you'll always be there. That illusion has faded, and what's left is a raw, unsettling awareness of what they might lose, what they couldn't see before. What they're just now starting to truly understand is that love isn't something you can control. It's not something you can plan out or manage with strategy. Love is wild, unpredictable. It flourishes when it's allowed to be real, when it's expressed in honest, unfiltered moments. And while they tried to micromanage every step of this connection, it's the moments they let slip away, the moments where they could have been real with you, that they now regret the most. They're starting to accept that the only path forward is to stop hiding, to stop calculating, and to simply feel, to speak, to show up as their true self, fears and all. It's an awakening of sorts, one that's asking them to finally let go of control and just be in the love that's been calling to them all along. And even though it scares them, they know that this is the only way forward if they want a real future with you. As for you, you're standing at a different kind of crossroad. Maybe you're deeply focused on your personal growth, or perhaps your heart is just beginning to open to new possibilities again, but this time, it feels different. You're not the same version of yourself that they once knew. You've grown. And while it may feel like you've been walking different paths lately, there's a bigger picture at play here. The universe hasn't been keeping you apart for no reason. This separation, this time apart, has been part of something intentional, something orchestrated to lead you both to a deeper understanding of yourselves and each other. When the space between you first happened, whether it was a break, emotional distance, or something else, it left them feeling thrown off. They didn't handle it well. Their natural instinct was to try to fix things quickly, to regain control. But as time passed, they began to see that this distance was a necessary part of their journey, a divine pause. Somewhere deep inside, they always knew this wasn't the end, that somehow, someway, you'd find each other again. But now, they're seeing that it's not just about finding each other again. It's about finding each other differently, with new eyes, new hearts, and a new understanding of what really matters. Still, the changes in you, the way you've grown and shifted, have unsettled them. It's made them rethink everything they once assumed about this connection and their place in your life. There's regret there, a deep sense of lost moments and missed chances. They wish they had been more open when it mattered. They wish they had let you in instead of staying quiet, and now they're carrying that weight, wishing they could go back and do things differently. What they now know, more than anything, is that there's no one else like you. This connection, the energy you share, it's irreplaceable, timeless, sacred. No matter what other people they've met or what experiences they've had, nothing compares to the way you make them feel. That realization has cracked something open inside them. They're no longer just thinking about the past. They're thinking about the future, and they can't imagine one without you in it. From the very beginning, They felt there was something different about you, something safe, grounded, a kind of love and energy that made them feel at home, but they didn't know how to handle that at the time. They needed space to process it, to figure it out, and in doing so, they held back instead of leaning in. It created distance. It created pain. But now, something has shifted. The energy between you has changed. There's more clarity now, more truth, and with that truth comes the potential for a new kind of connection, one built not on fear or control, but on honesty, vulnerability, and the deep knowing that what you share is real. They're no longer the same person they once were, and neither are you. The time and space between you both have shaped you in ways that words can hardly describe. Each of you has been on your own path, learning, growing, and evolving. That distance that once felt so wide has served a greater purpose, allowing both of you to step into deeper versions of yourselves. And now, with a clear sense of who they are and what truly matters, they're feeling ready to come toward you in a completely different way, one that's more honest, open, and real. Gone is the fear that used to hold them back. They're no longer hiding behind silence or pretending their emotions don't exist. They've come to recognize just how precious this connection is, and they don't want to risk losing it, or you. What they feel for you isn't something they can brush aside anymore. They now understand that nurturing this bond is essential, because letting it slip away would be like letting go of a part of their own soul. And with that awareness has come a new kind of courage, a readiness to show up with vulnerability, with authenticity, and with a heart that's willing to love without conditions or fear. Something inside them is stirring, an internal pull that's pushing them to act in ways they never thought possible. It's not something they can explain with logic, it's deeper than that. It's as if your energy has awakened a part of them they didn't even know existed. This feeling, this force, is unlike anything they've ever felt with anyone else. Even without being physically close, the essence of you still reaches them. Your presence continues to inspire them, encouraging them to make brave choices and step into the unknown. Your influence goes far beyond words or moments. It's energetic, it's soulful, it's as though your very being challenges them to rise, to grow, and to meet parts of themselves they've avoided for far too long. Your energy has become a mirror, showing them who they are and who they could be, and because of that, you've become a catalyst for their transformation.
You've sparked something in them that can't be ignored, and it's changing everything. If they were to strip away all their defenses and speak their heart without holding back, they'd tell you just how profoundly you've impacted their life, but not in a surface-level way. You didn't just teach them about love. You awakened something far more sacred through you. They've come face to face with their own truth. You've triggered an awakening that has been both beautiful and painful because it's forced them to confront the parts of themselves they used to keep buried. What you've shared isn't just a chapter in their story, it's been a deep soul initiation. The changes happening within them are not just emotional, they're spiritual. These shifts are happening on a soul level. That's why everything feels so intense and sometimes even overwhelming. But it's also why they can no longer stay the same. You've invited them without even asking to evolve, and they're answering that call, not because they feel they have to, but because they know it's the only way forward. They can't keep hiding from love, not when you've shown them what real love feels like. This version of them, the one who is growing and changing, is being shaped by the realization that they don't want to live in a world where you aren't by their side. The fear of losing you has become very real, and that fear has become a motivator, urging them to step up and show you that they're serious. They're starting to understand that this isn't just about longing or desire, it's about love that runs deep, love that demands courage. They know now that the only way to truly honor what they feel is by being all in. Through you, they've discovered a version of love that's not based on fantasy or fleeting emotions. You've shown them what it means to love someone in their rawness, to be present even when it's hard, and to choose truth over illusion. Your love has been their guide, a force that challenges and expands them. They finally realize that what they feel for you is something rare, something grounded in truth. It's not a crush, and it's not a phase. It's real, and it's lasting. What they've been holding in all this time, the thing they've kept close to their chest, is that they are completely and deeply in love with you, and they know in their heart that you feel it too. This isn't about romantic gestures or sweet words. It's about the way you've touched their spirit in a way no one else ever has. They've never felt anything like this, and they know this kind of connection doesn't come around often. It's powerful, it's sacred, and it's timeless. Now they're standing on the edge of a moment that requires more vulnerability than they've ever shown. They're craving clarity from you, not because they need validation, but because they want to know that what they feel is truly shared. They need to know that they're not alone in this, that your heart is still open, that the love they feel has a place to land. That moment of honest exchange could change everything. It could bring this connection to life in ways neither of you has experienced before. They've come to realize that this isn't just another relationship. What you share isn't ordinary. It's something rare, something soul deep. And they don't want to run from that anymore. They want to honor it. They're finally ready to say yes to this love, to show up fully and without fear. All they hope now is that you still feel the same, that your heart hasn't closed, that there's still room for this love to grow. This connection continues to feel incredibly real to them, not just because of the bond you've built, but because of how consistent their emotions have been over time. No matter how far apart you've been or what's unfolded, their feelings have stayed strong. Even through all the ups and downs, the joy, the heartbreak, the silence, they've never truly let go of you. You've always had a place in their heart, and that's what's driving so much of their current emotion. Alongside the love is a deep regret, a sorrow for all the times they held back, for every moment they didn't show up when you needed them most. That regret is heavy. It's not just about past mistakes, but about the possibility that their actions might have pushed you away. They wonder now how you see them. Has your heart changed? Do you still feel something for them, or have you moved on completely? These questions weigh on them, and they often replay everything that's happened, wishing they could go back and make different choices. They can't help but wonder if there's still a part of you that holds space for them. From your side, things may feel complicated too. Maybe you're not even sure if you want to let them back in. You've likely reached a place of emotional clarity, or at least peace, and now you're focused on your own healing, your own path. Maybe there was a moment recently that marked a shift, something that made you pull away completely. Whatever it was, it changed something for you, and they can feel that. They know the distance they feel now wasn't created out of nowhere. It's a result of the way they treated the connection before. They've realized that they played a major role in the disconnection. They may have been unsure, distant, or inconsistent, and it left you carrying too much of the emotional burden. Now, with a clearer lens, they see how their past behaviors contributed to the space between you, and that realization stings because it's made them aware of just how much they need to grow if there's ever going to be a real future between you. One of the biggest realizations they've had during this time apart is just how much your energy changed them. You weren't just someone passing through their life. You were the mirror they needed, the person who helped them see their true self. And even though the separation hurt, it became necessary. It gave them the space to understand the depth of this connection and the depth of their own feelings. Now there's a real sense of urgency within them. They know they can't take forever. They're afraid you might have outgrown the connection. That maybe, in the time it took them to wake up, you found peace in your own life without them. Maybe you found joy in other places, and you no longer need them to feel complete. On the outside, it may look like you've moved on, but deep down, they wonder if there's still a space in your heart that quietly waits for them. And this is what shakes them the most. The realization that you no longer rely on their presence to feel whole. You've created a beautiful, peaceful rhythm in your own life, and you're not willing to give that up unless it truly aligns with your heart. They see that now, and in a way, it makes them admire you even more. Your strength, your independence, your growth. It all shows them how much you've evolved, and it also shows them how much they still need to grow themselves. They can't stop thinking about what role they play in your life now, or if they even have one, but they're determined to find out. Because the thought of never exploring what this connection could truly become is something they can no longer bear. The energy between you and this person has shifted. Even if they can't quite put their finger on it, they can feel the change in the air. There's a sense of distance now, or perhaps a new kind of strength coming from you that they weren't expecting. They may not fully understand where you stand or what you're thinking, but they sense something is different, and it's leaving them wondering where they now belong in your life and whether there's still a chance to find their way back to what you once shared. To them, it may feel like the path forward is full of obstacles, but instead of running away from those challenges, they're finally stepping up to face them. Something inside them has shifted in a big way. They're beginning to realize that they can't move forward by trying to take the lead or control the connection. Instead, they're learning that real progress comes from tuning into your energy, letting you guide the pace, and being open to what you're feeling rather than imposing their own expectations.
This shift in their mindset is making them approach you with a more open heart. There's curiosity now, a willingness to really listen, to understand where you are emotionally and mentally. They're beginning to see how important it is to align with your truth instead of trying to mold the connection into something that only fits their comfort zone. At the same time, you've stepped into your power in a whole new way. There's a deep sense of confidence radiating from you, clarity in your heart, certainty in your mind. You're no longer questioning your worth or second-guessing your feelings. And this self-assurance is powerful. It's having an impact on them, stirring something inside that they hadn't expected. Your strength is awakening a part of them that wants to grow, that wants to rise, to meet you where you are now. It's sparking a kind of vulnerability in them because they see how far you've come, and they can't help but admire you for it. When they do come forward, the energy between you will feel different. You'll notice it in their presence, in how they speak to you, in the way they look at you. This is someone who's walked through the fire of this connection, someone who has felt the highs and lows, maybe even played out the runner-chaser pattern that so many deep soul connections experience. If there were delays or distance, it's likely because they needed time to face their own reflection, to truly understand what this relationship meant to them. But now, it's clear. The truth about who you are, what you bring into their life, and how much you matter to them has become undeniable. They can't push it aside anymore.
That longing they feel for you has grown stronger, a kind of pull they've never felt before, and it's drawing them towards you with a sense of purpose they didn't have in the past. They're no longer trying to figure out how to love you from a place of control or analysis. That old way of staying in their head, planning every step, hiding their heart, just doesn't work anymore. It only created distance. Now, they're starting to see that what you need is something deeper, honesty, real emotional presence, and a love that makes you feel seen, valued, and truly understood. They're starting to understand that love isn't about perfection or predictability. It's about vulnerability, about being real. In the past, they held back a lot, not because they didn't care, but because they were afraid. Afraid of losing control, afraid of getting hurt, afraid of letting their heart be seen. They convinced themselves that they could manage their feelings by keeping things logical, by only opening up when it felt completely safe. But in doing that, they closed themselves off from the depth and beauty of real connection. And now, that choice has caught up with them. They feel the absence, the emptiness that comes when you hide from your own heart, and that realization has hit them harder than they expected. It's made them see how much they truly need you in their life. Their heart is finally open. Not halfway, not cautiously, but completely open. They're ready to reach out to you in a way they haven't before. Yes, there's uncertainty. They're not sure if you're still open to this, not sure if your heart is still available in the way it once was. But even in the face of that uncertainty, they're willing to take the risk. They know they might not get it all right, but that's not stopping them. In fact, it's pushing them to be even more sincere, more committed to healing the past, and reconnecting in a way that feels true and honest. This could be the beginning of something new, a chapter built not on assumptions or fears, but on truth and emotional clarity. Whether this becomes a lasting transformation depends on both of you and where your hearts stand now. But what's clear is that they're hoping for that new beginning. They're praying for it, working toward it, and ready to offer a version of love that reflects the depth of what they now understand. They're no longer hiding behind masks or waiting for the perfect moment. They've grown. They've seen the truth. And now they want to grow with you, to walk beside you, and to co-create something that honors the love that's always existed between you. Where things go from here remains to be seen, but their heart is in the right place. Their intention is real. They're showing up not as someone who wants to take control, but as someone who wants to meet you as an equal, someone ready to build something meaningful with you, moment by moment. And if this message resonates with you and you found comfort or inspiration here, consider supporting our channel with a super thanks. It really does make a difference. Don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt messages and guidance. Your presence here means the world to us, and we're deeply grateful for your support.